Anything can really happen. Depends on what choices you make first. And we are off, and it looks like they're both going to grab their sword first, of course. Now, are we going to go up towards Vanilla 1, or are we going to go over to 3, Tej? What do you think?
Well, I guess it really depends on what you're more comfortable with. Saber, having run this game before, is probably going to screen scroll over to level 3, whereas we see JP heading over to level 1. So I personally am a fan of going to level 3 first, and that's just because if we go there, if you pick up a raft or a recorder, you're in a spot that easily allows you to cash in on both of those, but it looks as if both of our runners are instead opting to go to Vanilla level 1 first.
Well, this will also get them close to that potential armor's check after they see what's here. And we have level 4. Interesting choice. Tends to be kind of ladder blocked at times, given the shapes algorithm. We do have a key door to the north, so we can't go there, and we got some key doors here, so as long as this is a key, which is possible in level 4, we gotta come back.
Yeah, no, I mean, and level 4 is one of those things where it's right on the cusp of first dungeon you want to see, simply because it's still relatively small, all things considered, but it definitely has the potential of being exactly like you said, a little bit ladderable.
Well, we do get that first key. We'll see if we spend it here or choose elsewhere. It looks like Brewers may be spending it, and it looks like Saber's going to be taking it elsewhere. And yeah. Brewers goes south and finds a lovely two-headed Gliak.
Yeah, Nopin right on out of that. So Brewers now looks like he's going to go ahead and make his way over towards where Vanilla level 3 is. Saber looks like he's going to screen scroll over to the Armos item check here. I absolutely love this. I love getting the early Armos information. And when I say information, it's because we got about a 60% chance of it being over here. And if it's not exactly here, what else is under the Armos is going to tell you exactly where you have to go. But to me, exactly. I always want the free things first. Give me the free information. And that tells me we are not going to find our Armos section here. Let's see where we're going to be.
That is going to be some money, so that's going to be in the forest. That's a small secret. So that's going to be the one that's close to the coast.
Yep, the far right secret there, that 2 Armos there, 2 screens, down, east, south, east, whatever you want to call it from level 2. But
we did see our bomb price. It's 30 rupees, so a bit above average, so I don't think we're going to be buying many. And we find level 8 for Vanilla 6 is. 8's a good one to find, but it's a little deceptive because all there's 3 items, it is shapes, and we all know how big level 8 can be. That is a shape.
That is, but that's not as big and daunting as you would expect to see a level 8 too. And there's a super early Triforce with, unfortunately, the book. I say unfortunately because a lot of people aren't going to go after the book immediately. I am a fan of an early book, especially if I can get an early wand, because I don't like to dig for candle. But we also saw level 9 over on Brewer's side, where the Vanilla level 3 location is. So here's the big question is, as you mentioned, level 8 has 3 items. But you also have a super early Triforce in this giant dungeon. My thought process would be this. Normally, if I'm getting a super early Triforce out of a dungeon, I'm doing exactly what Saber's doing right now. I'm saving, and I'm leaving. However, because the map was found, the map may entice me to go back in because specifically it's level 8 and there's 3 items. What's your thought process on that?
For me, I look at the enemy combat inside the seed, and we saw Wizrubs in that dungeon, and do you really want to dig out a level 8 full of Wizrubs on 3 hearts and wood sword?
I mean, no, but I've done crazier things.
Well, I mean, we all have. It's Zelda 1 Randomizer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, JP going to go ahead and discover this level 8. He's probably going to get the same stuff that we saw Saber get with the Triforce there being super early and the book being right down there. So you're definitely going to want to dip yourself in here. So we're probably going to be on even fields here.
It's always nice to see keys go down 1 hit. That's like the worst enemy to roll up in HP, just because of how obnoxious they are. But it does look like Saber was bomb blocked, so unless JP gets some bombs off these orange Wizrubs, he's going to be stuck regardless. JP grabs his Triforce, evens it up on the Triforce count. We'll see if he goes back and try to get those bombs. And I did not see what the coast item was.
Raft was the coast item. So we have got Lincoln logs on the coast, which means Unlike a couple of the seeds we've seen in the past couple of nights, the latter is most definitely 100% required for this seed.
Got some $92 rupee arrows. $92 rupees would be interesting.
So is it $92 per rupee? Is that the exchange rate here? Anyway, the bomb, so he will be able to continue exploring level 8 if he so chooses, and he is going to go in. So this is what we were talking about earlier, where it's not so much routing, but it's the chances that you're willing to take that could pay a huge difference. The Saber's going to go ahead here and figure out what the Armos item is and be rewarded with the bow.
Huge find. That's something that we don't have to dig out. We do need to buy some arrows to make it worthwhile, so we gotta get some money. But we do know where an arrow shop is, so it's definitely worth picking up now. Take care of Pole's Voice really quick, and it's a 2 damage ranged item. So we do find level 3 of Vanilla 2.
Yeah, and level 3 is a much better dungeon to have to deal with early as opposed to level 8 or level 7. Because it's infinitely smaller than the level 8 and the level 7, as we just saw the level 8 map. So it's going to be easier to maneuver around it. The caveat here, of course, is with these smaller dungeons, they could potentially be extremely linear, which means the potential for blocks in them, whether it be bosses you can't kill in a shutter door or ladders that you can't traverse right now, that is definitely something that you need to be aware of. As Saber trying to figure out which door do I want to play 2-door Monty with, and decides at least partially correct, because there's the Triforce and 2 more ways he can go.
Yeah, we have another open staircase, so hello, the Dongos. But yeah, open staircase and level 3, unless it's segmented, this should be our item.
Right, and Saber's Dodongo combat here, like even getting the one as it going vertically, getting Dodongo vertically is super hard to do sometimes.
It's an item, and it is a boomerang, so 6 minutes in, not the worst thing you can find. I would definitely pick it up at this point in the match.
Yeah, absolutely. And Saber was talking to me earlier about a practice seed he did, and he said point blank, goes, the seed I was in, there was so much going on, I wish I had had a boomerang. I mean, it was directed to me, so it was specifically I wish I had Lord Banana, but still. So I know Saber is very, very good at the randomizer and at Zelda games in general. So he is not going to care about memes or whatever. He's going to pick it up if he thinks it's going to give him an advantage in combat. Unfortunately, we have more Wiz Ropes here in level 3, and the boomerang doesn't do anything to those Wiz Ropes.
Nope, and this could be another situation where Crystal Saber sees those Wiz Robes, he might just grab the Triforce having one item and come back later if he has to.
I mean, probably the right call here, though. I don't blame him for he already used the bomb. So let's go ahead and check that room right above where you already used the bomb hole here. I don't disagree with this because you've spent the resource, you might as well see what you can get out of it.
And we do have Crystal Saber's audio on, so one thing you'll notice that you'll see in his audio at times, that's not lag. What he does is he's one of the best in the world at... Oh, hello. We have Dark Nuts and Wizards together. What he's doing is he's pausing his game to try and read the enemy's movements, and that's kind of how he beat the game damageless. He has gotten so attuned to kind of knowing where the enemy's going that he can kind of just avoid them just by using his pause strategies.
Yeah, but one thing to keep in mind before we get into the other strategy here, up to vanilla level 9 and is discovered at level 7, and don't mind the camouflage link, it's just a way to try and fool Darkness into thinking you don't exist. Unfortunately, based on the bops being taken, it doesn't work that way. Now, back to what I was saying is there is a new a rule that is fairly recent that can be implemented. And basically what it is the game has an option called Select Swap, which is what you see most of the runners use. It doesn't affect the hash of the game in any way. So if you load it without Select Swap, like Saber usually does, or with Select Swap, it's going to be the same game, no matter what. So a rule has been put in place where you can generate 2 of the same game, one with Select Swap, one without, and switch back and forth between them throughout the race if you want to. So I know Saber was talking about potentially doing that because he was practicing. So don't be surprised if you do see Saber on some Select Swap things right now, and then strip the pause strats, or vice versa. So don't be surprised if you see that.
I would edge to him maybe not doing it in this particular seed, just because we've seen Wizards in multiple dungeons with multiple enemy sets. Therefore, that kind of leads me to believe that our Wizards are going to be our common enemy, so they could be more prevalent than normal.
Yeah, and with the enemy sets being shuffled here in the brackets, you definitely have that potential. As we can see, Gorias are on the overworld, so we definitely know we have at least one thing being swapped. And you know what I haven't seen on the overworld yet?
What's that?
Lionels.
Yeah, so it means our Lionels are going to be in dungeons also somewhere.
Is going to be over here in dungeons, and JP going to go ahead and pick up his bow from the Armo statue as well. Saber making his way up to the northeast, picking up a large secret. Normally, again, this is me. I'm not a fan of going out of my way to pick up this secret in particular, but because we already know that the candle we're going to need to purchase and that he has the bow, so he's going to probably want to pick up arrows, I very much like this call, especially when you get 120 rupees for it.
Yeah, because we saw our arrows are going to be 92, so that's going to take some of our resources right there. We don't see Pulse Voice in the overworld, therefore that means our Pulse Voice are going to be in dungeons also. So picking that up leads me to believe he is going to be getting arrows sooner than later. And I think this might be an arrow ship actually that he's on right now. Moving it one more screen over.
I do believe you are correct, sir, because there are some arrows right there. They are still cotton candy, pink and blue, and absolutely delicious. Although I do not recommend eating the arrows because splinters, what you want to do.
JP also takes the bomb hole in level 3, sees that early Triforce. Gonna pass it up for now and keep digging. So he's gonna find his banana in this room. And we'll see if he also goes back in. We find level 2 at Vanilla 5. Nice dungeon to find. It's a little deceptive in this flag set though.
Yeah, absolutely. But the big thing with what both Saber and JP have done here in this level 3 is that, well, hi, Saber, looking a little mad. I just bought these wooden arrows, and here are the silvers. I'm a big fan of, I will buy wooden arrows or buy the blue ring any day. If I immediately find the corresponding upgrade to it, I am perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, but he, as you saw Saber do, he let the silvers know he was not pleased to see them at that present time. Given that they are silvers, though, he won't say no to them, of course, just because he'd never say no to silvers. But yeah, it's always kind of a kick in the pants to buy an item and then just pick up the item in like the next screen over.
Yeah, but as I was saying, we saw both Saber and JP do it. They left the Triforce there in level 3. And because you didn't have to kill any enemies to get the Triforce, you can go back in, and the Triforce will still be sitting there. So if it's a room like that, I'm a huge fan of, just leave it, especially early on in the dungeon. Let's just leave it, come back, and get it later. It's still going to be there. If you had to kill a tough room for it, I'm a big fan of grabbing. Like, oh, I had to kill a room full of blue Wizardrobes. Forget about that. I'm going ahead and I'm going to grab that Triforce because I don't want to do that again. So yeah, knowing that the Triforce is an open drop as opposed to having to kill the enemies to get it is definitely a big thing. And wow, look at Saber just go to town on this Patra.
Yeah, it's not an expanding Patra, just one of the gyrating ones, so it's not as annoying. But yeah, it's still a Patra. You're still on Woodsword and only 4 hearts.
Yeah, and again, to be able to kill a Patra, like the gyrating ones are definitely the orbiting ones are definitely easier. But still, the fact that he was able to do that and do it in such a manner where he didn't take a single hit, that was an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous Patra. JP
following hot on his heels. We'll see if he does that same trick of buying some wood arrows and then heading into level 2, or if he goes into level 2 first. Given that he's going this way, he's going to grab his heart, and then he might just go up the ladder. We find a Triforce in level 2. Just surround some Gibdos, so we might just pass that up for now and come back. Gibdos are kind of easy to take care of.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind here is look at both of our runners' heart totals, because the white sword item is going to be definitely something we're both going to be looking at up here. With only 4 hearts, Saber only has a 33.333 repeating chance of picking up the white sword item, where Brewers has the 66.67 yada yada % chance because, math is hard. And I didn't want to round because I'm being stubborn. So depending on, if it's a 6 heart white sword item and there's no heart container here, it's the second item 2, then all bets are off. Both of our runners are going to be in the same problem, same spot. However, if it's a 5 heart white sword item, Brewers has the decided advantage with that, depending, of course, on what it is. Like if it's the ladder, or if it's the recorder, or if it's the Aniki or the red ring, things of that nature. If it's a heart container, if it's, the power bracelet, things that aren't as impactful, it might not be as big of a deal.
So we see Brewers also buy the arrows. It'll be interesting to see if he goes and buys them, gets the money to buy the arrows, I should say. And he is not going to the shop, so he is going to get rewarded by saving some money. He's going to check out the white sword item first.
I can understand both ways. I can understand picking up the arrows first. I can also understand not wanting to buy the arrows on the off chance you find them here because you know they're really close to start. So I like both of them. Speaking of the white sword item, it is the white sword. Unfortunately, it is 6 hearts. So that's not going to affect Saber as much because Saber is absolutely incredible at combat, so he can absolutely do things with a white sword. So if this second item in 2 is a heart container, that is going to give Brewers a decided advantage because the white sword will make combat faster.
Now this room is interesting because this is going to actually slow Brewers down by not having those there. Oh, actually, I'll get the silver.
Let's say, yeah, silver's in the first room in 2.
Cancel that.
Cancel.
Yeah, that was a backpedal right there. Brewers is in level 2, and he is going south, so he will find his silvers momentarily. And once he clears out some wall masters here.
And there is the heart container we were talking about in 2. So that is going to give Brewers the advantage of being able to pick up that white sword. And there is the arrows. Brewers probably doing a little shimmy, a little high five there. Because now with that 250 rupees, he can prioritize getting a blue ring, which is probably what he is prioritizing. Although every time he fires an arrow, he is losing a rupee towards that.
Yeah, but I can see why he is using his arrows. It is 4 points of damage. So it's going to absolutely just shred pretty much anything but Wizards and Dark Nuts, but we have seen those in dungeons, so it'll be interesting. It takes out those Lionels kind of easier, though. And there are still 2 more large secrets to pick up.
That is true, but we need a candle for those. Yeah. So, interesting thing about the white sword. We were talking earlier about some of the feats that Saber has pulled off when it comes to the vanilla game. And, yeah, there was Blindfolded, there was Damageless, but my personal favorite one that I ever saw Saber do was the sub 30 white sword run. Yes, you're speechless. I know that exists.
I mean, this is the guy who's being Breath of the Wild blindfolded, so I am not shocked by anything this man does.
No, I'm definitely not shocked here. I mean, he beat the Switch version of Link's Awakening blindfold like a week and a half after it came out. So, yeah, enough about that because we could go on for the accomplishments of Crystal Saber this entire time and never talk about the match. Right now, what we've got going is actually a very interesting match so far. And I say that as Saber has bought his candle. I say that with the caveat here of Brewers is going to go ahead and pick up this heart container, which is going to get him access to the white sword. It's going to be interesting to see if Saber decides to go back up and pick it up, which is where it looks like he's going. Or, yeah, because he was doing it. So I was about to say that the fact that Saber's probably not going to go and have the white sword immediately is going to make things a little interesting, but it looks like he's making his way back up there. And this is a very interesting play if you're going to go ahead and prioritize going back up and picking up the white sword.
I mean, it'll double his offense, so it's going to help him out in that regard, and you're definitely not going to say no to it since you're already up here.
No, but like I said, he was already down by the vanilla level 1 area, so coming back up here to pick it up, I would assume he's doing it because he is going from here right over to the vanilla level 9 location. And I think if you didn't have to go up there, you wouldn't come back for this. But yeah, so coming up here, and I'm pretty sure that if we ask him about it, it's going to be, hey, the 45 seconds to a minute that it's going to take me to go back and pick up this white sword is going to be well spent on combat being easier down the line.
Yeah, and that's kind of that thing that we said before of the enemies set in the dungeons are Wizards and Dark Nuts living together. So who knows what rooms we're going to find that we might have a lot of combat in. Brewer's going to grab his Triforce out of 2. Triforce count. So the question is now, where is our ladder to get that raft, and where is our flute?
Probably buried back in that 8 that nobody wanted to deal with.
Yeah, it was a Wizard of Hive, so we'll see how long it takes. Brewer's heading up the mountain, gonna grab his white sword also. We'll see what his next play is, because he still needs his candle if he wants to go over towards the forest area. He might be going to 8. No, we'll see where he's going.
Well,
he's going shopping. He might get some jewelry here.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Especially playing against somebody like Saber, who is extremely combat fantastic. Prioritizing picking up this defense, which will make combat go a little bit easier for you, is a fantastic play. Especially because it's going to allow JP to be a little more fast and loose with the combat, and it's probably going to give him an advantage with all of the Wizrobe heavy dungeons that we've already seen.
My only caveat on this was I may have bought the candle first, and then I maybe picked up a water chicken and then bought the Blu-ray.
I mean, that's a perfectly fair caveat to think about. Saber, putting the boomerang to good use there in level 7, having the Dark Note on the island, had a bomb drop and couldn't reach it initially, but through the boomerang was able to pick it up, so already proving its usefulness there. Even if that's the only thing the boomerang does all seed, it's going to be worth it.
And Brewers is back in the 4, so I like this play by Brewers. Checking out an easier dungeon. Sees this lovely Gleeok, White Sword, and Blue Ring can help him out. Just a bit more. You need 10 hits for the first hit and 6 for the others. Finds a bomb hole to the left we didn't see earlier.
Yeah, so I'd much rather deal with the red Landmos as opposed to dealing with the Gleeok, so good call for now here. Saber continuing on through level 7, excuse me, and you see the pause strats being put in use there. Walks in, sees a bunch of Wizrobes, hits the pause button real quick, allows him to take a quick second to adjust and walk up so he doesn't get hit with the Wizrobe beam, which will deal the 4 hearts of damage.
And we can bomb south from the Gleeok. As you see Brewers walking down towards the bottom part of the map, I know you're a fan of this kind of map reading. What's the good part about the bottom part of the map there, Teeth?
Well, I love this because in the shapes algorithm, there is one thing that is guaranteed, and that is at least one room in every dungeon will touch the very bottom row. So if you're trying to find a way to get to something and you can see things starting to peel towards the bottom, heading towards the bottom is fantastic because you know one thing has to be there. It could be through a segment or it could be all connected. So the fact that you see Brewers continuing to bomb down here to try and reach that bottom, I love it because you know it's going to be there. And what I don't love is running into Joe's Crab Shack here in level 7, but we have the Silver Arrow, so it's not going to be too big of a deal. The other thing to note here in level 4 is you will never have to clip to get to beat the game. So even though we see that there is a door south in that T room, Brewers is going to know this. He's going to bomb left, knowing there has to be another way down, and he has found it here. So that's another thing to keep in mind is you're never going to have to do any of the ladder clips, the screen scrolls, any of those fancy, quote-unquote, fancy tricks you see runners doing. Never going to have to do that to beat the game.
I mean, those tricks are definitely helpful, but they're not imperative. You can get around them. It's just a matter of how much will it speed you up by learning it. And in some instances, it'll help you avoid tough combat rooms. It'll help let you take shortcuts, but it's definitely not something you need to know to beat the game in an efficient manner.
No, but unfortunately, Saber has turned out to be ladder blocked in level 7, so he's going to have to come back for that. Brewers has found the Triforce in level 4 and was hopping around there with a bunch of buyers. But he's going to go ahead and pick up the Triforce in level 4. We still haven't found much else. Well, we found a heart container here. That was in the tea room, so we have that going for us at least. And now we're going back in, and does have the wonderful thing of the way we enter and exit there. You don't have to worry about unlocking the door, and immediately to the north is wow!
That is a huge find for Brewers. That's going to give him a bit of a leg, because that's going to get him a draft also. That is our ladder.
Yeah, and there is a 50-50 chance at this point that level 1 is that... I'm not 50% chance, a 33% chance, assuming that level 1 is underneath that raft, so that's huge. Now it's 50-50.
Crystal Sarah finds level 5.
But yeah, this goes back to what we were talking about here in the very beginning. I think Brewers might have forgotten that he picked up the heart, or is just going for a potential another key drop here. But this is what we were talking about at the beginning, where we know where all the dungeons are. So routing your way through the forest or Death Mountain to try and figure out that, you're not making gambles on that. As Brewers does pick up keys, so is rewarded. But the gambles you make inside dungeons, that's gonna be what helps out. And the fact that Brewers went back to 4 and has picked up the ladder, right now that's a big advantage. Although Saber's going to have a combat advantage here as he's picking up the wand in level 5. But yeah, this ladder right now, that, like, depending on when Saber comes back to level 4, he might be waiting to come back to level 4 with a ladder for all we know. So this ladder is a huge, huge boon for Brewers.
Did we see that heart in level 7 by chance, not level 4? Because I think he's looking for a floor item.
I could have sworn it was in the bottom of the tea room, because he came in here with 6 hearts after picking up the white sword, and he now has 7. So I am fairly certain it was a heart container in the bottom right of the tea room.
Okay, so he may have just forgotten about the heart, then possibly, which happens.
Yep, and of course, as I say, however long it takes Saber to come back to 4 is going to be JP's advantage. Saber immediately coming back to level 4. It's almost like I'm kind of good at this predictive analysis thing.
Saber takes the death to the Gleeok. I was going to say is very adept at fighting Gleeoks, but in a triangle staircase that they're still Gleeoks, and they still do a full heart of damage with every fireball.
Yeah, and Saber is going to go ahead and pick up the map here, and he is now going to be rewarded with his ladder as well. But first, he's going to bomb up. This could be a drop one was also, kill this. Zol's not bad, but the fact that they split, even being hit by the white sword, is definitely a little on the, that sucks.
We do have confirmation from our setup helper, Carino, that the heart was a floor item.
But was the floor a heart item?
As we see Crystal Saber working back through this level 4. Still in the northern part, so he picks up a key. And Brewers is taking out the Gleeok, and fortunately the Gleeok wins. We'll see if Brewers sticks around here.
Yeah, I 100% believe at this point that Brewers has forgotten that he picked up the heart container here. As Saber going to move through and sees this Gleeok and says, "Nope, I'm going to move to my bombs. I'm not going to worry about you right now, Mr. Gleeok."
Yeah, Saber took 1 death to him already, so he probably doesn't want to deal with it. JP, sorry. I know he prefers to be called JP. He does take out the Gleeok and doesn't have much for it, but at least he got his revenge, if nothing else. No, there wasn't a heart in that tea room.
Oh, maybe it was. I could have sworn there was a heart drop. I mean, it could have been in this one. I know it was right around here. Again, I could be mistaken, but JP saying, I thought he was saying, "Nope, I'm all set here," but he's going to come back. Maybe. Yeah, no, there is a heart, because Saber has 8. He now only has 7. He must have been standing right on it when it spawns. Yeah, no, it is a heart drop.
Well, JP is on his way out of level 4 now. Might be going to buy his candle soon, go towards the forest. Gonna go to Vanilla 8 and then probably grab his raft and then wrap that part up.
Yeah, but does have the exact 54 rupees that he does need to pick up the candle, so goes ahead and buys it from the Forgotten Spot and up in A's, and yeah, he's definitely heading towards the forest now. And apparently we're supposed to call this old man in level 4 Fred, and, well, okay, fine. Fred?
I'll allow it just because of the old man.
Well, that's the only reason I was doing it is because of the old man. There was no other reason to do it. I mean, I for one, am going to listen when the creator tells me something.
JP, nice heads up play, runs out of money, goes picks up a large secret. back on the money board.
I think Saber may be in the same sort of predicament that JP was in, because he's got the ladder and got the heart container. Goes ahead and kills the Gliok, unless he was doing it just to try and find a key, perhaps. Yeah, goes ahead and picks up the Triforce. I thought Saber might not have realized he ran into the heart container as well.
And it looks like JP has beeline to the coast, going to grab his raft momentarily.
Yeah, so again, 50-50 chance that this raft leads us to level 1. The other chance is level 6. I know which one of those I would rather see.
I mean, I know which one I'd rather see as a viewer. I know which one I want to see as a runner, but we'll see which one it actually is momentarily. Did we actually see Vanilla 8 yet?
Yeah, it's level 5.
Oh, okay, so he'll get his 1 here.
Yeah, Saber, now that he has the ladder, is heading back to level 7, and this is a very interesting play. To come back here to level 7 first. If there's anything worth picking up here in level 7, whether it be specifically here or the recorder or even the any key or the raft, this could put Saber at a huge, huge advantage.
Yeah, but on the flip side, if it is just trash, that is going to flip it over into JP's favor, where he may have to just come in here, grab a Triforce, and leave, and that's just a heart container on the floor.
True, but you're never disappointed to see an early on-the-floor item in one of these larger dungeons like 7. Say we're going to go ahead and have to pay the toll to get through this level 7, but nothing too crazy, and we have a staircase here. JP picking up the wand, Saber finding it's just a double heart container 7, so the only advantage here is going to be the Triforce, and now a 20% chance to pick up the magical sword.
JP getting the offense, so they're kind of tied on items at the moment. JP does have the raft, but Saber has what he needs to get the raft, so that's not kind of anything oversight. JP is going. JP is going to take out this Gliok, see if we can get that floor item. 31. Yes, the magical sword is between 10 and 14 hearts.
And well, we did get the 4 item out of 5. That is another heart container, so the ladder is paying dividends there. But yeah, the recorder in 8 theory still holding up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we have level 8 and we have level 1. I don't know if we've seen much in level 3 other than the banana either.
No, I don't think we have, because it was full of Wizrobes and they had like 3 or 4 hearts when they were there. So yeah, no, we haven't seen a whole lot of that. So we're still looking for the Triforce here in level 3, and if you tell me that's anything more than an animal jumping over something, it's level 5, you're wrong.
Well, we have our staircase. We'll see if that brings us down to the lower part of the dungeon, or if he even bothers trying it. I'm not even gonna bother. He doesn't have 1 bomb, so we'll see if he chooses right.
Yeah, with the 1 bomb, I would absolutely be seeing if I could use that staircase to get down to that section before trying to bomb down like you did there. Simply because resource management in shapes, whether you have the map or not, is still a very, very precious commodity. Keys, not so much here, as both of our runners do have 8 keys. But yeah, this does get us to where we need to go. Seeds can definitely be a thing you have to worry about. The good thing is, though, with all the money that our runners have found as if JP gets caught on the wall there, is bomb upgrades could very much be in play. And oh, the spike traps got him!
Spike traps getting the final laugh. Got a little cut up on the wall, took a couple spikes there, gets past those, and then, oh, more spikes.
I mean, yes, the stone traps, like especially when you're coming in and you don't know they're there, they are the absolute worst to deal with. Saber using the pause strats to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge out of the way of the cavalcade of blue Wizrobes. And speaking of a bomb upgrade, there one is, and it's going to be a 4 bomb upgrade. So we've increased the price, we have not increased the...
Yeah, going back to what you were saying about the spike traps for a second. When you walk in that room of 6 of them, those will always kind of catch people. Unless you're kind of slow going into the room, just because you don't expect there to be a spike trap right when you walk in, if you come in from the left or the right.
Yeah, and it's not even the 2 by the door, because you're used to the ones at that first column there by the door, It's the one that's in the middle of the room that's usually blocked off by a block in the room they're normally in the vanilla game. But yeah, no, you just run into those and you'll walk in and it's just like, ow, like that's the one that gets you. Yeah, JP taking it very carefully there, picking up the Triforce out of level 5. Very good play. Knowing they're there, yeah, you're like, yeah, no, I'm ouch.
And Saver with the Triforce out of 7.
Yeah, so we are basically in Triforce sync mode right now. JP going to be able to go ahead and get into the Wrath Block dungeon a little earlier than Saber is going to. Although Saber doesn't even has Saber even seen what's at vanilla level 3 yet? No, he's going there now.
Wasn't 3 level 8?
No, 3 was 9.
Oh, okay. Even better.
And it is unfortunately level 6, which means we're going to have to dig 6, 8, or 3 for the recorder to get into 1. And that is the worst feeling when the recorder or the raft is your go mode item, so you know whatever's there. You can just blitz through, and it's a small dungeon that has items you may want to get. So it's much better when you're go moding with the recorder and level 8's underneath that or level 6 is underneath that. And speaking of 6, it's a heart container. Again, that's a fantastic find, especially early in 6, because 6 tends to be a very large dungeon, and having to dig through all of the rooms just to find the floor drop can be an absolute pain.
And we have a God 6 of just 2 rooms and 2 items, any key being the second one, so that is huge for JP. Gets in and out of this level 6, and as long as he finds the Triforce pretty quick, solves all his key issues. Not that it really mattered because they had a lot of keys, but going in and finding 2 items in this level 6 for that fast is huge.
Yeah, we're gonna get the absolute God mode at 6 with the Triforce right here. No, I was really hoping for the Triforce to show up. Save, we're gonna go ahead and pick up the raft on the screen scroll and pick up another heart container. So that means he's gonna have a 40% chance now of picking up the magical sword. And again, there is a good chance at this point that we are going back to 8 to pick up that recorder, because there is a 66% chance it's in 8 and the 33% chance that it is in 3.
Saver will make him the play back to level 5. He will, I think the second one here was a heart container, so I'll be picking that up and grabbing the Triforce as well. Unfortunately, as chat is saying, the Triforce here in level 6 is not being as kind to us.
Well, there's always something about level 6 that has to be trolly, so at least if it's the Triforce, you know that the same thing is going to happen to your opponent as well. Sometimes with the room drops, they can be like, here's a room full of 17 Wizrobes, I'm not going to clear it, and your opponent's like, hey, here's a room full of 17 Wizrobes, I'm going to be dumb and beat my head against this, and oh, hey, look, they guarded the recorder. Like, that happens. At least if it's the Triforce, you know that both people have to clear out whatever stupid room.
That, and we also may find a compass, maybe, hopefully. So that will kind of tell us what we have to do, as long as it can be found, which isn't guaranteed. Wall mashers and turrets, lovely combo.
I mean, it could be worse.
Do I want to ask why or how?
It could be Patras and turrets.
I mean, that would be worse.
Yeah. So Saber, this is where you're going to see Saber's plot strats come in handy here, as he is on the half a heart without any ring. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when he walks into that Triforce room and is confronted with the spike trap. Well, never mind, because there's a heart. Well, there goes all of my thanks, game. I had this whole big long spiel prepared, and you got to go and give a heart drop. So yeah, TG doesn't know what he's talking about anymore. Yeah.
Now we see our Lionels finally, TG. Here in level 6.
Well, it was about time, because we hadn't seen him through the first 6 dungeons, so.
And Saber did catch himself. We were walking to the spike trap. Has not seen that second item yet.
Hey, Dark, the peasants are revolting.
Just don't feed them.
Then they'll revolt even more.
Get a hose.
And you wonder why the French revolted when Marie Antoinette told them to let them eat cake.
Would you want to live on cake and nothing else?
I mean, yes, but I'm looking at this level 6 map, and it kind of looks like somebody failed at trying to get some Tetrises, and they just have like the giant holes through. They're just sort of like staring at you and mocking you. But that's kind of what this looks like.
You know what it kind of looks like to me? Vanilla 7, Quest 1 take. It's like spitting almost.
Oh, that's good. And we do have the compass here in level 6. That is a very far out of the way to get Triforce. Yeah, that's something. Say we're going to go ahead and pick up the Triforce here in level 5. So we are going to do that. JP making his way down to pick up the Triforce there in level 6. And hey, there's a staircase. So depending on where that other staircase in 6 is, this could be a fairly fast 6, all things considered.
But JP is going to grab his Triforce and he'll be done here. He has both items. He doesn't have to come back.
Yeah, so JP is going to, at this point, probably go back to level 7 to grab the two things. They're going to be disappointed that it's 2 heart containers, but at the same time, it's 2 heart containers, so that's going to put him closer to the magic sword. But yeah, this is turning into a very interesting game of who's going to dig what dungeon first to figure out, to find the recorder. Now the question becomes here is, do you go back 3 for the floor item, or do you go back to the Wizrobe Infested 8 for the floor and the stair item?
Given the size of the dungeon, I'd go back to 3 first, personally, just because it is a smaller dungeon.
Yeah, no, I am definitely with you on that, but that's one of those, depending on how you want to play it, that's decision-making, like, that could, that could turn a game in your favor.
Yes, JP does have a blue ring, correct. I just did not mark her on the tracker, because I forgot.
I always forget there's a blue ring button on the tracker.
Well, yes. And JP is now into level 7. So we'll see if he grabs both items and runs, or if he sticks it out. He does have his ladder, so he's going to make it a little bit easier work through this room than Saber had when he came through.
Yeah, but Saber has gone ahead and found level 6, and he's going to be extremely happy with the, at least the God mode rooms. But here's the thing with this level 6. If we go right here in this room, you will be on your way to the Triforce. So it could potentially be a super easy level 6, and Saber is going to go right. So yeah, like, the Triforce is a couple rooms away to the right, so this is huge.
Yeah, but we'll see if he stays in and looks for that second item, because we know that any key was only 1 room north of where he just was. So that any key might be the runner that Saber has in this level 6.
True, I mean, you're not wrong there, but yeah, again, it's all a matter of how you want to figure out how you're going to do it. Because here's the Triforce there, and now that Saber's picked up, it's going to be interesting. Does he go back in? Because if he goes back in and goes 2 rooms up, he's going to have a much, much faster level 6. If he decides to peace out and come back later, again, that's going to be very interesting at this point, because do you want to dig 6 for 1 item? Do you want to dig 3? Or do you want to dig 8 for the 2? And it looks like Saber's going to be like, no, I'm good with this 6. I'm going to come back later. We know it's a good choice because he's got 8 keys, so key management isn't necessarily going to be the worst deal for him.
And Brewers is going to see his level 7 map momentarily.
Yeah, just to keep in mind, though, that by no means is 8 keys a foolproof number. There was a match yesterday where one of the runners did not find the any key and went into 9 with, I believe it was like 7 or 8 keys, and by the end of it, had to leave to purchase a key. So while it may not look like there's anything to deal with right now when it comes to the resource management, it is something to keep in mind, because there have been some fantastic runners throughout the history of the tournaments who have been done in by keys.
And it does look like Crystal Saber is making that play first, which I like this play personally, just it is the smaller of the dungeons.
Oh, 100%. Because, you'd much rather deal with the smaller dungeon here at level 3 than have to dig through that mess of a level 8. The only advantage that 8 has at this very minute is we have the map of 8, we don't have the map of 3.
Yeah, but we do see a cavalcade of blue dark nuts, and with him being on green tunic still, blue dark nuts is still going to do 2 hearts of damage, even if you are a Crystal Saver. Well, there's your map of 3, Teach.
That's a tiny, tiny level 3. As JP going to go ahead and find the heart container in the stairs here in level 7. So he's found both heart containers, if my memory serves me correct. So now he is just on a path to find the Triforce. Not gonna lie, I really want the recorder to be an 8.
I mean, yes. Just because we want to go back into the biggest dungeon and see exactly where it is. Level 3 is at Vanilla 3. Level 9 is at Vanilla 3, sorry. So you see JP fighting another Gleeok here. When you fight Gleeoks, it's kind of interesting how they work. When they spit fireballs at you, those fireballs are going to continue until they either hit you or hit a wall before another one spawns. So if you kind of like cheese them into shooting their fireballs across the room, that's going to slow them down a bit. But the other thing to note is that their heads actually do a lot less damage than the fireballs. So you can kind of take more out of their headshots than their fireball shots. So if you're going to take damage from a Gleeok, you might as well just run into a head.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the paw strats, and these are the rooms where the paw strats that Crystal Saber uses come into play, as there is Wizrobes and turrets. So yeah, paw strats coming huge into play, but to continue on what Dark was talking about, the heads of the Gleeok will only deal 3/8 of a heart worth of damage. Yes, I said that, you heard me correctly, 3/8. So it will take 2 hits from the head of a Gleeok before it will actually register on your heart meter.
And with him having blue ring, that's going to cut that in half again. And math's not my strong suit, so I'm not going to try to break that fraction down.
Yeah, no math. I'm sure we have people in chat who can do it for us. So if you want to, go right ahead. Meanwhile, I'm going to sit here and watch Crystal Saber kill Darknuts.
Okay, I guess that's 3/16. Thank you, Leslie Pro, for the math for us.
I knew it was 3/16. I was just being lazy and not wanting to say anything because it's math. And I have kind of a reputation to keep of no math. And, oh, there's the power bracelet in 3, so it is yes!
Well, you got your wish. Now I just want it to be the floor item just buried in this level 8.
I mean, yes. But yeah, Saber's going to put that power bracelet to immediate very, very quickly. Level 7 not being very friendly over there on our right-hand side to JP, as it keeps giving him the business. So yeah, we've only seen about 4 rooms of this level 8, and Saber is going to wisely go ahead and check over here at the magical sword spot, because we've got an 80% chance of picking this up. So game, are you going to be nice? Yes, you are. We've got magical sword.
So that's going to basically give him 4 points of damage for every single sword shot that he has now.
Yeah, and JP is going to go ahead and pick up the Triforce out of level 7. So now it's going to be interesting. JP has found the any key out of 6. Saber still doesn't know that the recorder is guaranteed to be in here. We do because we have the knowledge. So the interesting thing is going to be, where does JP decide to go? Does he go back to 3 like we were talking about earlier? I'm going to guess not, based on how he's going here. It looks like he's going back to 8, because if you would be up A-ing here and just going from start. So it looks like we're going to have both of our runners in level 8 at the same time looking for the recorder. So this is very, very interesting. Also very interesting is going to be if the magical sword is able to be acquired on the 11 hearts that JP is on. If so, that's going to even up the playing field and push the advantage, at least combat-wise, back into JP's side of things because of that blue ring. We do have a staircase here with an Aquamentus in level 8, and it is one of the 2 sets of transport staircases we're going to find here. And I say 2 because level 8 normally has 1 in the vanilla game, plus this is a segmented dungeon, so it needs another set added. Interesting move here by JP, opting to not go and check on the magical sword right now. I kind of like this move, because if you find another heart container here in level 8, you're increasing your odds of a second time to check. Saber has discovered that this level 8 is in fact triple segmented, even though it doesn't look like it on the map. And I say that because he could not bomb north, so he does in fact have to take a staircase, which will get him to the other side of the segment. There'll be another segment in there, which will get him back from it. Saber does do some pause threats here to maybe do a little bit of mapping and stuff, and both of our runners are basically going to be neck and neck here. They're going to be one room apart right now. Saber does have the advantage, and there is the recorder in that blue dark nut room to the south. So it's going to be interesting. JP going to be following right along as well. So both of our runners here are going to be able to acquire this recorder here fairly quick into level 8. JP checking Boleyn first. I don't blame him on this in the slightest. Going to be interesting if this is a staircase and he takes it. That's going to put him really, really far behind. Luckily for him, that is not a staircase. So since we do know that we have a floor item to pick up, he's going to be very happy that he opted to kill this room. And the wand white sword strat's coming into play here. But now coming up, Saber is going to make his way over to level 1. So I'm going to shut up for a minute so we can all listen to the recorder tune.
I know what that is, but I can't place it.
I believe that's Mute City. But anyway, we have both runners going into level 1, so it's going to be interesting. JP's advantage is the any key. Saber's advantage is the magic sword. Do you look around level 1 to potentially find a red ring in here? Or do you, if you find the Triforce only, do you just grab it and go?
Really depends on the enemy set. Given just kind of the easy wall masher set, I might take a quick couple rooms. Just a heart container there. It really depends on your gut feeling if you feel behind or not.
I mean, if I'm JP, it's Saber I'm playing. I'm feeling behind no matter what I'm doing.
I mean, you're not wrong. We do have a potential item, and it is, and it's the blue boomerang. So I don't think he's going to pick that up at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, in that room, you definitely, you push that block there, see if it's a staircase. 1, to see if 1 is segmented. 2, if it happens to be the red ring, you absolutely grab it. But I am definitely agree. A JSR in chat says, quote, if I'm playing Saber, I'm ignoring everything, I'm in go mode, and I want Triforce for Crystal Saber. Brewers is going to go ahead and pick up a heart container in here. Saber's going to be on his way to 9. JP not going to be that far behind, so it's going to come down to the advantages that we have in going into level 9 and who potentially does the mapping and the routing better. So this is going to be very interesting. This is going to be a very close, good finish here.
Yeah, again, this race just kind of goes to show how seeds are kind of a little bit of a misnomer in this flag set. JP is the 62 seed. Sticking with Saber neck and neck. They're going to be very close to the entrance in level 9 here.
Okay, so we are here in level 9, so I'm pretty sure that we've all seen this before, but if this happens to be your first time ever watching a Zelda 1 randomizer race, there are 2 specific things we're looking for. Dark, what are those 2?
I'm going to borrow what our lovely admin Crimson's Avex has said with level 9.
Lovely? Lovely?
Yes.
Okay, you're angling for something there by calling him lovely, but anyway, moving on.
I'm not, but we are listening for what Krim has said is a roar and a door. Therefore, we will be listening for the sound again. We'll hear him from where he's one room adjacent to us. And I'll be also looking for a single shore that does not open, kind of like the one that Crystal Saber's in right now. We'll see if it opens or not, if he kills those wizards, which he bypasses for now. And we find a red candle immediately in level 9.
always interesting when the first staircase you come across is an item staircase, especially when you're not looking for anything.
I believe we have the audio of Crystal Saver at the moment, so if we do hear that roar, it'll be coming from Saver's side. A very nice block clip by JP under a bunch of pressure there from the blue Wizrobes.
Yeah, and block clipping with blue Wizrobes in the room is never an easy thing to do because they are going to pressure you. And the one thing that I've noticed that a lot of people tend to do, and here's the thing to know about block clips if you're practicing them. Block clips are not one of those things where it's pixel perfect, frame perfect. It is to a point, but it's not one of those things that's time sensitive. You can take your time doing it. You can take your time to line up. You can take your time to hit your buttons. So when you're practicing it, don't feel pressured to have to do it extremely quickly. With the blue Wizrobes, you're going to feel pressure to do it quickly. And yes, you do have to do it quickly to a point, but still, I'll see a lot of people panic when they're trying to clip in rooms with Wizrobes like that. So the biggest piece of advice I can give is, even if you're in a room like that, don't panic. Take your time and set your clips up the way you normally would, as Saber picks up a key here and goes past a manhandle up. So JP going to go ahead and squeeze past this room of Wizrobes and head on north, where Saber is going to continue to make his way into the southwest corner, and was hoping that that door wasn't going to open so he could say he has found Zelda, but nope, that door did in fact open, and we know we're not going to find Zelda in here because we have two shutter door rooms. The only time Zelda can be off of a room with multiple shutter doors is if you are in Ganon's room. Aside from that, if you see multiple shutter doors, you will not be finding yourself a princess. So
one thing I'll note is JP does have a little bit of an advantage in this level 9. He does have the blue ring, so it is going to increase his defense in this pretty tough enemy set.
Yeah, not only that, he also has a potion, and I hear Pig. So going to be interesting to see where we go. Saber going to see if he goes left, no, goes right, and we have ourselves a Ganon, everybody. So, and there's a shutter door on the right side of Ganon, so there could be a Zelda right over on the side of Ganon. So this is very interesting all of a sudden.
I was going to say, that shutter door will be interesting, because once we pick up that Triforce of Power, we'll see if what is past it.
Ganon giving Saber a little bit of the business right here, not wanting to play nice, but Saber finally almost picks up the stun lock, still has one more stab left to go. Unfortunately, JP gets a little bit of the business done to him over there as Tez take the pirouette of dying there in level 9, so he's going to have to start back over from the beginning. Saber going to go ahead and see what is to the right again, hoping, praying this is Zelda, and it is not. It is just a bunch of Dark Nuts pretending to be Zelda.
So now we will be looking for a single shutter door right now for Crystal Saver that opens immediately when you walk into the room, and I don't think JP is too far from where Ganon is, so this is still a race.
Yeah, and I'm speaking from experience here. Just because Saber has beaten Ganon first, that does not mean JP is out of it at all. And I say I'm speaking from experience because in my last round matchup, my game 1, I was the second runner to beat Ganon. But I was able to find Zelda first, so you are never out of it until you see the dot done in the IRC. So just because, one runner has defeated Ganon doesn't mean anything. Level 9, it gained the nickname of the Great Equalizer for a reason, and the potential it has to do things and is that. And this room here, this room here is an absolute pain because of things like that. And here's the other thing here is JP is out of bombs, so that resource management discussion we were having a little bit earlier is definitely something to keep in mind. And also, Saber only on a half a heart, well, now a heart and a half, because every time I mention Saber being on half a heart, the game wants to give him a heart drop. Game, why do you do this to me? And JP going to leave level 9 and pick up a fairy fountain here, which is good. Level 9 being this close to the fairy fountain means you definitely have the capability of picking that up and going back in with a full set of health.
Now, if you've taken a couple deaths since level 9, and you're sitting on 12 hearts, do you start thinking about possibly checking the mags since you're right here in the Lost Woods anyway?
No. If I was going to check mags, I was going to do it when I was over level 8. At this point, again, this is a decision I'm making entirely based upon who I'm playing. We know how amazing of a player Crystal Saber is. So if I'm JP, I'm not taking that chance of leaving to go get Magical Sword at this point, because the only advantage Magical Sword is going to give me, yes, it's going to make the Wizrobe combat easier, but realistically at this point, it's going to be Ganon that you're worried about. And with a potion and the White Sword, it's not as bad. So I know I'm not considering it here. I'm hedging my bets and continuing on with what I have, with what got me here, because I'm playing Crystal Saber, and I need to hedge any and all bets that I have.
Well, so far, Zelda is not being seen. And I don't know if JP has even heard the word yet, because it's kind of in that middle part of the map. We know Ganon's in that southern middle part of the map.
Yeah, based on the direction JP is going, I don't think he has, or if he has heard the roar, there's nothing he can do because we don't have bombs. So, again, JP right now is more in need of bombs than anything else. Saber wants to find a compass. JP gonna go ahead.
Level 9 does best.
Oh, of course, level 9 do what level 9 does best. Saber gonna go ahead and bomb left here, and oh, hi! Or you can just, bomb hole into Zelda. You can do that as well. So there we go. That is going to be it. Crystal Saber going to go ahead and take game 1 of this best of 3 series with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 51 seconds. Now, probably not going to do any interviews here for this first one here, because this is, again, game 1 of 2, and game 2 is going to be a back-to-back here. So if Saber wants to come in and do a little talking, he absolutely can. There's going to be no forcing of that here at all, because, again, Game 2 is going to be coming here right after this. Runner's probably going to get about a 5 to 10 minute break right here on twitch.tv/speedgaming. And then we're going to go ahead right to Game 2. And we're going to give you a new set of commentators for Game 2, because I know that having to deal with more than one game of me is probably torture for everybody involved. So we're going to go ahead and switch that up on you. Oh, and it was Rad Racer. It wasn't Mute City, so 50-50 on that. So shout outs to anyone in the chat who said Rad Racer. So over in the IRC, JP's like, yeah, I'm not touching that 9 anymore. So he said, I'm done with that. We're going to go to Game 2. But a fantastic showing there in Game 1. Both bar runners in level 9 at the same time. Bombs turning out to be the undoing for JP there. But that was a fantastic Game 1 race. And Game 2 is going to be coming up here in about 10 to 15 minutes, give or take.
We're going to be turning it over to Wolfman 2000 in August 40th. And with that, our job is done for tonight. We were going to sit back and watch the race with you guys in chat. With me today was the Greenleaf Effect. I was Dark Falls. Stay tuned for Game 2. We will be back in a bit. Stay tuned, guys.
And of course, as always, keep hailing.